We have Anis, Mr. Money. Anis handles all the financial systems, basically.
SAP, Sun, Amethyst 2, he's
Yeah.
involved in a lot of this as well.
So all the money this guy is handling. So he's the guy to know on the team. All right, your finance guys will be interested in him. We got Oliver, masterization maestro. All right, we'll come to this later because this will affect how you learn things or how you're involved, basically. And we got Susan, our social influencer, heads up all our comms, handles our business, ensures everybody knows what we're doing, and it's just not like, who are those creepy guys walking around our hotel? All right. So, why do we integrate? You want to touch on it?
Sure. So,
3 things.
we talked about systems. So, one of the biggest things is about our website, our distribution, TARS, all.accor.com, right? So, when you look at this, one of the biggest things that was very clear for us, we'll get to the brands that we're integrating, but one of the brands is Mantis, so out of South Africa. In the first month of being on TARS distributed on our website, they had bookings from 14 countries they'd never seen bookings from before. So this is a clear indication of the reach that we have. Loyalty, right? When you talk about synergies, right? What examples of synergies can you think of? So, one of the key ones that I can tell you is OTAs, right? With Accor and the volumes, the synergies that we get is our OTA percentage commissions go down for the new brands. So an example was Movenpick was paying 7%, now they pay 2%, right? So those are the kind of synergies. And then lastly, you talk about optimizing efficiency. So one of the biggest things that all of you in IT are required to do is drive down the cost. But yet you have to keep the same level of operation, the same standard, right? So when we integrate such brands like Movenpick, like Mantis, they were tiny compared to Accor, right? And Rixos is also on the books. But the biggest thing that they gain out of integrating is the fact that they now can leverage Accor pricing. So a simple example is we looked at Movenpick paying $1,000 for a switch, and now under Accor pricing we're paying $600, right? So for you guys that also becomes a lot easier to sell it to your GMs, etc. And those are the 3 criteria that we actually base our success on, okay?
All right. So, what are the phases? 2 of these phases here look like if we'll get to that. So phase 1, all right, we work with a new brand and we work on due diligence, ensure that we have connectivity between that brand and Accor, basically, all right? And why do we do that? To enable the business. So your hotels will be on distribution and loyalty systems and be able to work, right, for the new brand or the new hotels coming into the fold. So that's phase 2. Granted, we have this as phase 3, but it's actually happening at the same time as phase 2, right? So in phase 3, we're working, this is where we need your help, all right? And we come to you and you work some long hours with less sleep than 7 hours, as I said earlier, and we work on infrastructure and email connectivity and switching across, etc. All right? And then phase 4, the hotel migrations. All right, this is when we actually, now the business is functioning. We got all your OTA stuff, but this is when we actually start switching across to the computers and the systems, etc., to be able to be managed in a central system.
So this is where we are now with a lot of the brands. And this is where we need this. I know there's a bunch of people in here that are from integrating brands, there's a bunch from the legacy brands, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we will need everyone's help for this. Because if you're in Sofitel, if you're in Ibis, if you're in a Novotel, you already know what the brand standards are, for example, for a network. You already know terms like masterization and how it works. So all these brands that are coming in, you might have one close to you, down the road or not too far away. We look to you then to provide some guidance or support if necessary to help those coming into the family to make the whole process easier. Okay, so that's phase 4. We're there with Movenpick at the moment. So keep this in mind. If there is a Movenpick close by, keep that in mind. You can help out. You can volunteer to help out. We have a group of champions, but it's always good to have more, right? Mantis is another one, a little bit more remote. So maybe in Africa you might be close to a Mantis that would help. And then lastly, we're going to also get to this stage with Rixos, right? So the Rixos properties in Dubai are a little bit different, but when we go a little bit further out, we might need some help.
Okay.
So
again, we won't go through this, but we did a lot in 2019 basically. But let's kind of switch to Q&A a bit. We'll look at what we're doing in 2020, where we're focusing right now, Mantis, we're working on the HQ, migration, etc. And we're going to focus on the Mantis hotels in Africa. Movenpick, we're just finishing Europe hotels in Q1, and Middle East Africa is going to be our focus for Q2 to 4. And Rixos also this year basically on the hotel conversions. All right. So, questions? And if no questions,
any questions?
You started by saying integrating hotels to Accor ecosystems.
Yes.
What do you mean by Accor ecosystem? You mean about the OTA things and
Well,
discounts?
OTA distributions. For example, in Movenpick you used to use Synexis. No more. Right now you're using TARS. So you currently use Movenpick Opera Cloud with the Movenpick shell. Very soon it's going to be Opera Cloud but Accor shell, right? You never had a loyalty system. Now you have all.
But why is it called ecosystem? What is?
Because all these systems work together, right? CRM, you have in Accor what is termed as MDM. Not mobile device management, but MDM is the name, right? And you have all of these linked together so that you're not talking about using 10 different systems, you're talking about using multiple systems with fewer interfaces for you as a user, for example, or your users, right? Knowing guest preferences, putting in guest preferences. Every night there is an extract from Opera that goes into the CRM system for certain fields. You know, same goes for Trust You. You know, things like this. There are a lot of integrations that are already done in the back end that allow us to use this ecosystem easier.
Any chance that FMB, as you mentioned now, one system. Now,
Yeah.
now for example, the FMB, they need to work on the micros.
Yeah.
If the guest is coming, or Symphony, if the guest is coming, if you have a card, they have to go to another website where they have to load their information to make them earn the points.
So earn and burn.
Yes. So
Okay.
any chance that this also will get
Earn and burn in this region. Okay. So earn and burn in this region is still under development, but it is a project that is there because it's not as seamless as what they have in Paris. So this I know Roger has on his agenda, and it is something that is being worked on. Good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys.